for Q&A.
Great, thank you, Fiona, and thank you, F&P, for welcoming us back here again today. As Fiona said, I work with iRaiser and I'm their regional manager for Australia and New Zealand. I've met quite a few of you before, and I'm sure you're probably getting to know us by now. But if not, please feel free to scan this QR code. You can go straight to my LinkedIn profile and we can connect directly. What you'll find, of course, is that when you connect with me on LinkedIn, I'm actually a fundraiser myself by trade. And I completely understand where you're coming from as a charitable organisation and what your needs are. I'm really excited to be representing iRaiser here today and talking to you about community fundraising, because it's where actually my fundraising journey began over 15 years ago when I first moved into the not-for-profit sector. So much has changed in that time in terms of technology and in innovation, and I'm really happy for fundraisers of today that they can utilise such advanced digital solutions compared to what we were dealing with 15 years ago, of people physically completing manual forms, being sent into our charity, having to do a lot of manual processing, a lot of manual reconciliation of bank payments, and basically not a very effective process. So community fundraising has definitely come a long way, and I'm excited to talk to you about some of the features in our completely brand new tool here today. So iRaiser is a European leader of digital fundraising software solutions. And of course, as Fiona was saying, and as you would have heard from previous webinars, we're really excited to be here in Australia and supporting Australian and New Zealand clients. So if you'd like to know more about iRaiser, feel free to scan the QR code and go straight to our website and you can check out what we do and what we offer. I've definitely gone QR code crazy in this presentation, so feel free to scan away. Okay, so coming into iRaiser, coming into Australia, what that means and what we see is important in supporting local Australian clients. So firstly, in any third party that you work with, I think it's really important that you understand that your data is hosted here on Australian shores. We work with local Amazon web servers, and you can rest assured that your data is hosted here in Australia. That's obviously really important. And of course, you have full ownership of your data. We cover all of the payment methods. So we cover a credit card, PayPal, direct debit, Apple Pay, Google Pay. We have an invoicing functionality. So we manage all of those payment methods. So you don't need to manage any integrations yourself. And of course, we have a local office here. So today's topic, as I was saying, is very specific in terms of community fundraising and peer-to-peer fundraising. Now, as I was saying earlier, we used to have a very manual process in the community fundraising space, and it could make cost of acquisition and running a community fundraising program quite expensive in terms of ROI. That has definitely changed now, and we know that through COVID, particularly, that it highlights the fact that digital fundraising solutions are certainly not only cost effective, but certainly help in terms of community engagement and in terms of reach and in terms of funds raised. So I'm going to talk to you a bit about our new tool, what we've launched globally. It's not just a tool that we're only launching into Australia. It's a brand new tool that has been developed by fundraisers for fundraisers, and we are releasing it globally. And within that solution, we know that there are particular features that are new, that no one else is offering, that of course you guys could get to benefit from. I'm only going to be going through my favorite features in this presentation because it's such a short amount of time. But if you would like to, here's another QR code for you. But if you would like to join a full demonstration of our peer-to-peer solution, you can just scan here and register for one of our upcoming public demos as a first step, and you'll be able to see the intricate details of this tool. Okay. So there's no doubt in Australia, we are one of the most experienced P2P markets. Us, the US, UK, Ireland, we know peer-to-peer fundraising and we know it really well. We know also that it means much more now than just getting a P2P product and simply offering P2P to our communities. It's much more advanced, and our donors, their expectations are far higher as well than what they've ever been. So we are going to focus today on some features that appeal to that advanced market. Okay, so first of all, before we continue, a little poll. I sort of can predict the numbers here, but who is currently offering P2P? Fiona will launch a little poll here. So you can simply select yes or no.
Thanks, Beck. I've launched that, so I'll let you know when we've got the answers.
Okay. How did we go, Fiona? Anyone answer?
Yeah, I'll just give it a couple more seconds. We're just waiting for a couple more people.
Okay.
Okay, it actually looks like the majority of people are not offering peer-to-peer fundraising. Okay. 71% of the respondents saying that they don't offer it currently.
Okay, well, we have a lot to discuss. Okay, so I actually predicted the reverse. So I haven't gone into great detail in this presentation as to what P2P is. I mean, we know what P2P is, but just as a reminder, basically there's typically two, I'll just get rid of that off my screen. There's typically two types. So obviously there's the traditional, I guess, sort of time-based type of P2P activities, and that's simply people running in a marathon for you, or it might be, for example, a pink ribbon campaign that's led by the charity that's only in the month of October, for example, and it's time-based, has a start and a finish time. And then there are what we call always on P2P campaigns. So people who are having their birthday celebrations in memory, or we've seen some really creative campaigns that run all year round for charities that they've launched and made available to people on their websites with no ending date and no close date. Essentially, P2P fundraising, as a nice reminder for everyone, is basically allowing the community to do something for you that they love, whatever they love. And we know we've seen people do all sorts of weird and wonderful things for charity and raise really significant amounts of money. Not everyone is able to be a monthly donor or a major giver or a bequester or a volunteer. So some people may be really well connected in the community. Maybe they're got high networks, and maybe that's the way in which they want to choose to support your organisation. What we also find is when people participate in regards to in memory, it's not just about fundraising for the charity or running or walking in memory in memory, but it is also about honouring a lost loved one year after year. So people have their own motivations and the reasons to participate in a P2P activity for you. So two types, time-based and non-time-based, essentially. Now we're going to go into my favorite features in our new P2P tool. But as I said, if you want a deep dive into our P2P product, which I recommend that all of you come to my public demo coming up in November, particularly if 70% of the people here have not got a P2P offering at the moment, I'd love for you to come and see a full demo of the tool and what it's able to do for you in your organisation. One of the biggest things we see in markets like the UK and Australia is that it is really difficult for organisations to present a centralised, uniform, non-fragmented P2P offering to their audience. And we know that this is largely due to the fact that there are different, I guess, suppliers linked in with different running events, and it makes it quite a complicated journey for you to present the option for people to participate in P2P fundraising for you. In the iRaiser solution, you can, of course, it's essentially a mini website, and you can present your P2P products very easily in a centralized fashion. And I've just shown you an example here. And that was my first tip, is tip number one is basically be able to give yourself the control of centralizing your P2P offering, making it very easy for people when they come to your website to know that you offer P2P, what it is and how easy it is, and what people can pick and choose from to support your organisation in a P2P environment. The second really important thing is about your brand. And in the iRaiser solution, this is one of our really big features. And everything that I'm showing to you today is all of the out-of-box solution. So it doesn't require development or web designers or anything like that. This is available to you to use, and it is completely in your control. So when we say truly white label, that of course means your brand at the forefront. So even in the URL that people are coming onto your website, they're clicking that they want to do a peer-to-peer fundraising activity for you, you want them to feel like they're still on your website. So it's really important that you do not have a supplier name in the URL that people are going to your P2P platform. All of your brand at the forefront. What you see here is basically our demo, a screenshot of our demo platform. But when you're configuring your own P2P platform, and when you work with iRaiser, for example, we've designed over 90 composition blocks for you, essentially almost like a drag and drop scenario, that for you to be able to build your pages how you want them to look. So you can use our pre-designed blocks, and you can upload images, change text, change composition, change order. It is really up to you. And as I said before, you don't have to be hiring web designers or IT consultants to manage this important part of your program. So that is obviously really important. For people who are more advanced in the IT space, you can actually apply your own HTML within our solution as well. So if you're wanting to, you can use various design blocks to apply your own HTML design. What you're seeing here is a couple of screenshots I've taken. They're actually all separate blocks, but these are examples for you of different design blocks that you could use when you're actually creating your landing pages for your P2P product. So let's pretend you're participating in a marathon, or you're hosting a big feast and you wanted a countdown clock, a live countdown clock to your event displayed on your page. You can do that by using our countdown design block, for example. You can choose the colors, the text, the images. It's completely up to you. There's lots of different ways in which you can choose to configure your pages. Now, the other really important thing is there are different levels, I guess, of IT and web design and web development experience. I think all of us now are, in a way, digital experts. And if you've used things like Canva or MailChimp, it's, obviously you're going into the back office of those solutions, and it's really easy to design and create what you want to achieve, whether you're doing a mail out or you're designing your own brochures. This is to act in the same way. So you log into a back office, you can change colors, you can change images, and you can create what you like and what is relevant to your organization. You can change all of the text, you can add all of the menu bars that you want. It's highly customizable. And I guess that's my main point in terms of top favorite features of mine within this P2P tool, that it is a highly customizable solution, but it's still very easy for both a beginner level user as well as an advanced level user to use. We even have an option where we have a default platform ready for you to use, and all you have to do is put your brand and colors onto the solution. So if you just want something ready to go and ready to start fundraising and ready to start offering P2P, we have basically a solution set up for you ready to go with all of the emailing options, the thank you emails, and everything that you would need in getting started with P2P. Then of course you can customize it to your own look and feel. At the same time, if you're someone who has been working in P2P for a long time and you have a very specific product that you want to launch, of course, you can apply that in the iRaiser solution. This is one of another one of my really favorite parts of this tool, and that is the fact that you can actually define your own registration journeys. So by this time, someone's come to your website, they've said, yes, I want to participate in... Let's pretend it's Australia's biggest morning tea. And they say, yes, I want to participate in that. I'm going to click on there and I'm going to create my own page. You as the charity can decide, okay, if you're a school group, if you're a corporate group, or an individual, you can create different registration journeys for those different types of people coming in and registering for the event. Perhaps for a school group, you're going to ask specific custom fields about the school environment. Maybe for a corporate, you do the same situation where you want to ask very specific things to a corporate organisation that you wouldn't want to ask a school. You can have drop-down fields. You can change the order in which these fields are being asked. You can even add ticketing into your registration journey. So maybe for corporates, you're going to charge them $1,000 to participate, but for schools, it's free, or an individual might cost $50. And maybe you want to offer everyone the option to purchase a t-shirt or a hat within that activation of that registration as well. So you can add in merchandise purchases as well. It's, as I was saying before, it's highly customizable, and you can ask as much or as little in these registration journeys as you want. So this is when people come on and say, yes, I want to participate in, for example, Australia's Biggest Morning Tea, and you can create different journeys specific to different segments. It's a really important part of the feature of a P2P program. I just wanted to let you know we are also working on a DIY event module that will be available in our new tool. So if, for example, someone's having their own event, like where they want to manage RSVPs and their own ticketing. So someone's contacted you and said, I want to do an art show, and they want to manage their own RSVPs. We have an event module specific for fundraisers that they can use as well within the iRaiser tool. Okay, number 4. This is really cool. This is all about integrations and how we work with integrations and how you can work with integrations within your P2P product. So you can apply all sorts of different layers of integration. There is a new feature coming out next year on the iRaiser product where we will be integrating with Facebook. So what that means is basically you can have a mirror image of your P2P product within Facebook. So we know that when people fundraise for charities within Facebook using Facebook fundraising, there are a lot of limitations with that. It is obviously far better to use a solution like iRaiser where you have full control over the fundraising activity. You can engage with the fundraiser. You can have their opt-ins, their data, and you can participate in a donor engagement strategy with them. Obviously what I'm saying here is that basically through our integration with Facebook, you will actually be able to have a mirror image of your P2P product on Facebook, which will make it super easy for people to promote their fundraising activities for you. There's lots of examples in terms of integration. You can integrate Google Maps onto your platform. As I was saying, you could have things like live streams, live videos, gaming events. All of this can be integrated into your iRaiser P2P product. Here is an example of an integration with Curator. Now, Curator is an Australian company actually, and it is free. And basically, what this allows is by having a simple integration with Curator, when someone's using a particular hashtag for your P2P activity, you can actually have those posts visible in live time on your actual P2P campaign. So it becomes like a social wall. So that might be pulling Instagram images or Facebook posts. As I said, if you use the example of Australia's Biggest Morning Tea, again, and people are posting on their Facebook, posting on their Instagram, using hashtag Biggest Morning Tea, they could then appear on the Biggest Morning Tea P2P fundraising page as a social wall. It's so easy to actually implement in our back office, and it's obviously just another really nice feature that you can utilize. You could even integrate things like a Google Map. So if you wanted people to meet you at a particular meeting point for an event, you can integrate a Google Map for people to follow. All right, I know we're running short of time, so a quick poll here from Fiona on who is currently using QR codes in their P2P product. I'm guessing that this is not going to be many because not many people are offering P2P at this point in time. But I guess the question is, are you familiar with QR codes in P2P, and are you offering it?
Thanks, Beck. Just waited so far. Everyone said no.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll just wait a second or two more. This is something I have to say, and it was only last week that I heard about QR codes and P2P. So it sounds like a brilliant idea, but probably quite a new idea. So we've actually only had one person say that they are using QR codes and P2P. Everyone else is saying no.
Okay. So this is basically a really nice feature. So, and we are integrating this directly into our platform. So this is like, for example, let's pretend I used to actually manage the Jump Rope for Heart program for the Heart Foundation back in my earlier fundraising days. And often you would have a situation where, you know, children are at a family barbecue and they want grandma or auntie to donate to their Jump Rope for Heart activation. And of course, there would be cash and change and moving around within that barbecue environment. This is a situation where, for example, we have the same scenario, but that little person who's asking their auntie to donate to them is simply opening the mum's phone or opening their phone, showing it to the auntie scanning a QR code and going directly to the person's fundraising page and making a donation in lifetime right there and then on the fundraising page. And it's all captured within that environment, and you're actually capturing that donor information very easily. So you could imagine another situation where basically what I'm saying in the iRaiser tool is the QR codes are auto-populated on all of your individual pages, on all of your team pages. This is a new feature that is coming out next year, but you could imagine a situation where you're in the Melbourne Marathon and basically the runners, you know, potentially they have a lanyard with their QR code for their fundraising page. So they're running past people are cheering them on. Maybe they want to let people scan and donate to their actual fundraising activation for you right there and then. So having QR codes and using QR codes, particularly in an environment like Australia where QR codes have been so big, we think are going to be a really big advantage for people in the P2P fundraising space. What's more is you can then, of course, have a seamless and frictionless donor journey when it comes to payment. So if we take the auntie at the barbecue example again, she scans to sponsor the little child's Jump Rope for Heart program. You could then imagine that on her phone, she has Apple Pay activated and she simply has to swipe and her payment is made. When we use things like Apple Pay Connect, that then means that you're actually capturing all of the details you need from that donor as well, without her having to actually enter them in. So that becomes very easy for the donor, really advanced UX, really good donor data capture for you, and easy fundraising for the child, easy all round. My number 6 favorite feature in the tool, and I've got a lot of them, so I'm going to go really fast here, but basically is the emailing tool. There's a really advanced automated emailing tool that you can set up per campaign. So you can have an in-memory email communication versus automatic emailing communications to someone participating in the Melbourne Marathon. So you might send 8 emails, 10 emails, 15, whatever you like, and they have different trigger points that they're sent. So for example, it could be a time-based email trigger. So maybe as soon as someone registers for the Melbourne Marathon and is fundraising for you, you want to send them an email immediately after registration with specific details. Then maybe 1 hour after registration, 2 hours after, 3 days after, 3 weeks after, or 1 hour before the event, whatever it may be, you can set up your email journey specific to that campaign. It's a really awesome tool, and we can talk more about it in the public demo coming up. As I was saying before, payment methods are super important. Wallet giving options are certainly emerging, and we know that the donor preference for these payment methods are really important. So things like Apple Pay, Google Pay, yes, credit cards are still quite pronounced here, particularly in Australia. But if you think about yourselves, when you're having to make a payment anywhere, it's so annoying having to physically type in all your credit card details, go and get your credit card details from your wallet, etc. Whereas when you have things like Apple Pay, Google Pay, Amazon Pay, these type of payment methods activated for the donor, super easy for them to just connect and swipe and their payment is made. It's actually very secure for the donors as well, because they only have their credit card in one place. And for example, that's with Apple Pay. They don't have to be listing their credit card on 50 different subscriptions that they have. It's only required in the one place. So all of these things that I'm talking about around front end UX design, so the way we design the website, the journey we put the peer-to-peer fundraiser on, the ease in which the fundraiser is able to communicate their fundraising activity to the donors, right to the point of the donors making very easy and simple transaction, really gets you down to a really smooth, frictionless journey for both the fundraiser and the donor. So ultimately, you guys can concentrate on the more important things around donor engagement and nurturing, as opposed to manually figuring out what's working and what's not. Okay, so I have one more quick poll. I'm interested to know who is using wallet giving options at the moment within your charity. It doesn't just have to be for P2P, it could be for your regular giving or one-off donation programs. We also have a really advanced monthly giving tool that offers all of these payment methods as a monthly method, but I'm really curious as to who are offering these type of payment methods. So if you could complete the poll, and Fiona will let us know.
So it's looking like pretty much everyone offers credit cards. A small number are offering Apple and Google Pay. No one is offering Amazon Pay by the looks of things, and only one is offering PayPal Connect.
Okay.
Yes, so a few gaps there.
Okay, thank you, Fiona, and thank you for participating in the poll, everyone. As I was saying before, if you come to that longer demo, we can talk more specifically about payment methods and what these payment methods mean and allow. But as a good first step for everyone, if you haven't already, perhaps you could consider downloading Apple Pay yourselves. You can put it in your wallet options on your phone, and you yourself as a user could start by discovering how easy it is. The prediction for Australia is they're saying that within the next 5 years, Australia will be a cashless society. So these wallet giving options that we're talking about now and offering them now within our tools is obviously really important. Okay, so now the last bit of information I wanted to let you know, and I have zoomed through this super quickly, but the last thing is around the donation user experience. So we've spoken a bit about the fundraisers experience, and we've spoken a bit about some different ways in which you can present your brand and your donor journeys within the tool. I haven't spoken about all of the features within the tool because we simply don't have that sort of time in 20 minutes. I've only been focusing on my favorite ones. Now, the donation part of the platform is as important as the fundraising part, right? So you want to, again, you can set up a specific donation flow. So for example, you can say, okay, well, when an individual donates, they're going to get asked these type of questions. When a corporate organization donates, they're going to get asked these type of questions. It can be completely customized by you. You can add in additional fields, and you can even specify payment methods for different types of people donating. So if you're a corporate, maybe you want to give them an option to have a one-time invoice generated and credit card as their payment methods. Whereas an individual, you obviously don't want them to have the invoice option. Maybe they're just going to have credit card and Apple Pay activated, for example. So you can have different donation journeys set up. You can obviously ask as many dollar handles as you want. And in this case, in our tool, you can, of course, attach images and equivalence messages for the dollar handles. So if someone clicks on $60, they can see an image and a message as to what that means to your organization. So without taking up too much time, I guess the main point here is that, again, this is a highly customized and personalized part of the P2P product. In our P2P solution, it's not just about P2P. You can obviously use the tool for event management, and we are also working towards a centralized all-in-one platform. We have, as I was saying before, we have really advanced solutions around payment modules, crowdfunding, and P2P, and we're looking to present that in an all-in-one package. So I hope I've given you a little bit of an insight into the P2P product, the new one that is coming, the cool new features, what's hot and what's not. And as you can see, we have a little bit of an early bird special here that is listed. That is basically valid for a short period of time. So we want you to be able to try out the new tool and see it. So if you would like that, you just have to scan this QR code and talk to me. I've used a lot of QR codes, there's no doubt, Fiona.
No, well, we love QR codes, and actually someone made a comment that we've all learnt to use them very effectively during the pandemic. So small silver lining there. I think there was a moment in time where we thought that they might not catch on, but they absolutely have. Now we have gone over time and I can see people are leaving. We've got 2 questions. We'll just zip through those quickly if that's okay. The first one, Beck, and I think it's just worth clearing up. Perhaps there is a bit of confusion about this out there. Someone asked if iRaiser and Raiser's Edge are connected in any way, but my understanding is they're completely separate products. Is that correct?
They are completely separate products and separate companies, but if the question is around, can you get your data into your Raiser's Edge CRM? Yes, of course you can. And there are different ways in which we do that in our tool. And we can do that with any CRM, whether that's Salesforce, Raiser's Edge, Microsoft Dynamics, any of them.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you for clearing that up. And a question here, can iRaiser work in collaboration with Microsoft CRM Dynamics 365? Which is kind of...
I think that's the question. I just answered that one. I think, yes, we can. So please come along to a meeting with me. If you scan here, you can actually connect in a meeting directly with me and we can talk specifically about that. But we essentially have systems set up that to us, it doesn't matter what CRM you have. We have a really advanced export notifications tool, and I can run you through that in a one-on-one meeting.
Lovely, thank you. And to close, I just thought this is a really interesting comment here from an attendee who said, I'd be curious to see whether down the line payment solutions such as Afterpay might be an option for iRaiser and fundraising in the future. That's a really good point. I don't know if that's something you've
look, it's really interesting because, payment methods are changing all the time. So we're seeing things like Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, Afterpay. Basically, we, of course, in our type of solutions, we're constantly on the market when it comes to payment methods, reviewing, analysing, testing and implementing what is required within the market. So we haven't discounted Afterpay, but it is not something that is available as yet, and this would be something that our team would be reviewing. But again, Afterpay is interesting because would we really want people to pay their 3 installments? It's almost like a pledge. It's almost like a lay-by as such. And is that something that would appeal to the not-for-profit sector? I'm not sure. That's debatable, I guess, in terms of, again, with pledges as well. Sometimes we really want the payment. We don't really want to be chasing people afterwards to make the payment, but we'll have to come back on that one.
Food for thought, isn't it? We see pledges work really well in tele-fundraising. So it's food for thought. Watch this space.
Yes. Okay. And actually you can use a pledge functionality within iRaiser too, just so you know.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Beck. Can you just, in closing, remind us of the date of the live demo?
Yes, we have one coming up on the 23rd of November. So if you scan this, you can actually go straight into my calendar and book a one-on-one meeting with me, or you can attend the public demo coming up on the 23rd of November. We have one in December as well and one in February. And Fiona, I believe, is going to send out the dates and the details to join after this. So whether you're at this meeting now or if you're getting this after the fact, come along and see what we can do with you.
Absolutely. Okay, well, thank you, Beck, and thank you everyone who joined us today. We hope to see you next Thursday for our next Tech Thursday. But thank you, everyone. Have a good afternoon and enjoy the rest of your week. Goodbye.
Thank you, everybody.